Two people, both 66 years old. The first one gets down on the living room floor to play with a grandchild and stands back up without thinking about it. Carries the laundry basket upstairs, moves through the kitchen without reaching for the counter. The second one is the same age, and doing well in most ways, but standing up now takes a small push off the armrest. Stairs get taken a little more carefully than they used to. Same age, two different paths. And I want to say something important before we go one step further because it changes how you should hear everything that follows. The second path is not permanent. Bodies over 60 respond to what you ask of them, sometimes remarkably well. Nothing in this video is a sentence you've already been handed. It's a set of things you still get to change. So what separates those two people? Genetics matter. Luck matters. But a much larger piece of it is something almost nobody stops to examine: the small, ordinary habits, repeated so often they've become invisible. That's what makes them tricky. A habit that works against you doesn't hurt today. It doesn't hurt this month. It just quietly borrows a little strength, a little balance, a little freedom, and never gives it back. Today I'm walking you through 6 habits that may be quietly working against your body after 60. And stay with me for habit number 6, because it's the one almost nobody spots in themselves, and it can silently cancel out the other 5. Then, once we've been through all 6, I'll give you 3 simple things you can start tomorrow free, uncomplicated, and each one pushes back against more than one habit on the list. One quick note before we begin. I'll be suggesting some gentle movements today. Please check with your doctor before starting anything new, especially if you have a heart condition, joint problems, dizziness, or you're recovering from an injury. And whenever you try something on your feet, keep a sturdy chair, counter, or wall within arm's reach. Nothing here is worth rushing or risking. Now before habit 1, do me a small favor. Drop a comment telling me your age and where you're watching from. I love seeing how far this community reaches. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. This channel exists to help you stay capable and independent as the years go on. Picture a family gathering. Somebody is sitting on the low, soft couch, the comfortable one everybody sinks into. When it's time to get up, they rock forward once, then twice, then push off the armrest with both hands. Nobody in the room says a word about it. It looks like nothing. It isn't nothing. That's the first visible signal of habit number 1, going through your entire day without ever asking a muscle to work hard. This isn't about becoming an athlete at 65. It's about a quiet trap almost everyone falls into. Days get gentle. You walk to the mailbox, tidy the kitchen, run an errand, pleasant, useful, and none of it ever pushes a muscle close to its limit. A daily walk is wonderful for your heart, but walking alone does surprisingly little to stop muscle from slipping away. After 60, muscle loss tends to pick up speed. Researchers call it sarcopenia, though the label matters far less than the pattern behind it. Muscle follows a simple rule: give it a reason to stay, or it slowly leaves. And it leaves quietly, a little each season. You won't notice at first. Then, rising from a chair takes effort. Then, groceries feel heavier than they should. That's how strength drains, not in one dramatic moment, but across 100 small ones nobody sees coming. So give your muscles an honest job, a few times a day. Stand up out of a sturdy chair 5 or 6 times in a row. Press against a wall for a few slow push-ups. Carry the groceries in yourself instead of handing them off. Hold the kitchen counter and rise onto your toes. Then lower down 10 times. Keep the walk. Please keep the walk. Just don't let it be the only thing your body does all day. But don't go anywhere, because habit number 2 is one that a lot of people are genuinely proud of. And that's exactly what makes it slip past you. Let me ask you something and answer it honestly in your own head.
Let me ask you something and answer it honestly in your own head. What did you actually eat this morning? For a great many people over 60, the honest answer is a slice of toast, a little cereal, coffee, and half a banana. Something small, something light, something that feels sensible. And that's habit number 2, starting the day with almost no protein. It feels like the responsible choice. It usually isn't. And the reason is something most people have never been told. As you get older, your body becomes less efficient at turning the food you eat into muscle. Researchers describe this as anabolic resistance. In plain language, your muscles now need a stronger, clearer signal to hold themselves together. That signal is protein, and it works best spread across the whole day, not dumped into one evening meal. When breakfast brings almost nothing and lunch brings a little, your muscles spend most of their waking hours running on empty. Repeat that for years, and it may quietly speed up exactly the muscle loss we just talked about. Weaker legs, a weaker grip, slower recovery when illness or injury shows up. And protein isn't only about muscle. Your body pulls from it to build the antibodies that fight infection, to repair tissue, and to support your bones. So tomorrow morning, before you eat anything, ask yourself 4 words. Where is my protein? If the answer is, there isn't any, fix that one meal. A couple of eggs, a bowl of Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, a handful of nuts on the side. No powders, no counting, no special diet, a palm-sized portion at breakfast, the same way you'd have it at dinner. If you typically skip a real breakfast, comment guilty below. I suspect a lot of us are in the same boat. Researchers estimate that roughly 1 in 4 adults over 65 in the United States is socially isolated. 1 in 4. And the striking part is that almost none of them chose it. That's habit number 3. Allowing your world to get smaller without ever deciding to. It happens by accident, in small increments. Friends move closer to their children. A spouse passes. Driving after dark stops feeling comfortable. Invitations thin out. And one day you notice that 2 or 3 days can go by without a single real conversation. And that somewhere along the way, you started calling that being independent. What's easy to miss is that loneliness isn't only an emotion. Public health researchers have linked ongoing social isolation with higher inflammation, faster memory decline, and effects on heart health that some studies compare with other well-known risk factors. Your brain and your body appear to be built for connection, and they both seem to feel its absence. It also drags the other habits down with it. Alone, you move less, you cook less, so you eat worse. Sleep gets patchier. There are fewer reasons to get dressed and step outside. One quiet habit pulls 4 others along behind it. The rule I'd give you is small enough to actually keep. 1 voice, every day. Not a text message, not a thumbs up on a screen. An actual conversation with an actual person. Call your daughter. Call the friend you've been meaning to call for a month. Talk to the neighbor over the fence. And once a week, put something on the calendar that puts you around other people, a class, a group, a service, a standing coffee. Connection after 60 isn't a luxury. It's closer to medicine, and it happens to be free. If your own world has gotten quieter lately, comment, I feel this. Sometimes it helps just to see you're not the only one. I want you to try something with me, but only if it's safe, and only the way I describe it. If you're near a kitchen counter, a sturdy table, or the back of a solid chair, stand up and put 1 hand on it. Keep the hand there. Now lift 1 foot just slightly off the floor. Not high, an inch is plenty. Can you hold it comfortably for 10 seconds? 15? Or does your body immediately start hunting for the wall? Don't judge yourself on the answer, just notice it. Because habit number 4 is assuming your balance will always be there without ever practicing it. Balance is a skill. We build it as children, and then most of us spend 50 years expecting it to stay sharp on its own. Like any skill left alone, it quietly fades. Most people over 60 haven't deliberately stood on 1 foot in decades. They haven't turned quickly, stepped over something, or caught themselves on purpose since they were young. Now, falls do matter after 60. I won't pretend otherwise. A fall can mean a fracture, a hospital stay, and a stretch of recovery that costs strength you'd worked hard to build. But that's precisely why this habit is worth your attention. Because balance is one of the most trainable things in your entire body. Studies on balance training in older adults are genuinely encouraging. Practice it, and it tends to improve often faster than people expect. The trouble is that most people don't start until after the first fall. The whole idea is to build it before you ever need it. So make it something you already do. While you brush your teeth, hold the counter, and lift 1 foot for 15 seconds. Then switch. Stand up and sit down, slowly, with control, instead of dropping into the chair. Walk heel to toe across the kitchen like there's a line on the floor, keeping the counter beside you. A minute a day, done safely, with something solid in reach. That's it. Balance is one of the strongest protections you have, and one of the easiest to rebuild. The last time Walter had his hearing tested, his youngest granddaughter hadn't been born yet. She's 11 now. He's not avoiding it. Nothing hurts. The television volume has crept up over the years, and he asks people to repeat themselves more than he used to. But that all happened so gradually, it never felt like a problem worth booking an appointment over. That's habit number 5. Skipping the quiet checkups, hearing, vision, teeth, and the routine screenings. Most of us only see a doctor when something clearly hurts, but several of the things that matter most after 60 don't hurt at all in the beginning. They just drift, slowly, while everything feels fine. Consider what that drift may cost. Untreated hearing loss makes conversation harder, and researchers have linked it with faster memory decline and deeper isolation, because it slowly pulls you out of every conversation until you stop joining in. Vision that hasn't been checked in years can raise your risk of a fall. Neglected teeth and gums have been connected with inflammation and heart health. And the routine screenings people keep postponing are the exact tools designed to catch serious problems early, while they're still straightforward to handle. None of these announce themselves. That's the whole danger. By the time they do hurt, the easy window has often closed. Stop waiting for pain to be your alarm bell. Open your calendar today and book whichever one you've put off longest. The hearing test, the eye exam, the dentist. Then, ask your doctor which screenings are due for your age, and get those on the calendar too. These appointments aren't a sign of getting frail. They're how sharp, capable people stay ahead of trouble. It's too late for me. 5 words, said gently, usually with a small laugh, usually when someone suggests a change, and they may be the most expensive 5 words a person over 60 can say. That's habit number 6, the one I flagged at the very beginning. It isn't something you do, it's something you believe, that you're too old to change anything now. It sounds harmless. It even sounds humble. This is just how I am at my age. That ship has sailed, maybe 20 years ago, but this quiet belief may be the most damaging habit on the entire list, for one reason. The moment you accept it, you stop trying. And once you stop trying, every other habit we've discussed gets worse without any help at all. Notice what makes it so slippery. Habit 6 doesn't create one specific problem you could point to. It quietly cancels every solution before you ever attempt it. Someone suggests building a little strength waved off. A doctor mentions balance work smiled at politely. Not out of laziness, out of a genuine, unexamined conviction that nothing done now could possibly matter. The evidence says otherwise, and says it loudly. Study after study has found that people in their 60s, 70s, and well beyond can build measurable muscle, sharpen balance, and improve how they move and feel. Some of the most encouraging strength research has been done with adults in their 80s and 90s. Your body keeps responding to what you ask of it. It doesn't stop listening because of a number on a birthday card. So, trade 5 words for 4. Not, it's too late for me, but I can improve one thing. Not everything. One thing. Stand up from the chair a few extra times today. Add protein to tomorrow's breakfast. Make one phone call. Every strong, capable older person you've ever admired is simply someone who declined to believe they were finished. You're not too old. You're at exactly the right age to start protecting the years in front of you. So, that's all 6. But knowing what to stop is only half of this. The other half is knowing what to start, and that's what I promised you at the beginning. 3 things. And each one works against more than one habit at the same time, so you're not taking on 6 new jobs. You're taking on 3 small routines that quietly cover all of it. The first one is the simplest strength move there is, and you already do it a dozen times a day by accident. Now you'll do it on purpose. Find a sturdy chair. Sit down slowly, with control. Don't drop. Stand back up. Repeat 5 or 6 times. Look at how much ground that covers. Your muscles get a real challenge. Habit 1. Your balance gets trained every time you rise and lower with control. Habit 4. And each round quietly proves to you that your body still responds. Habit 6. Do it during a commercial break. Do it before every meal. No equipment, no space, no special clothes, just a chair, a minute, and something solid nearby. The second one is about order, not amount. Before you fill your plate, put the protein on it first, then build the rest of the meal around it. Eggs, yogurt, cottage cheese, beans, fish, chicken, a handful of nuts, whatever you actually enjoy eating. Do it at breakfast especially, since that's where the gap usually is. This answers habit 2 directly, by feeding your muscles a steady signal all day instead of one late evening burst. It supports habit 1, because protein is the raw material your muscles work with. And steadier energy through the morning makes you more likely to stay active and get out of the house. You're not eating more food, you're changing what goes down first. The third one takes about 5 minutes and costs nothing. Every day, have one real conversation, out loud, with another human being. Call a friend, call your son, talk to the neighbor, chat with the person behind the pharmacy counter. That's the direct answer to habit 3. But it reaches further than that. A regular conversation gives you a reason to stay sharp, a reason to get dressed and go out, and somebody who'd notice if something seemed off. It even softens habit 6, because the people who care about you tend to be the first ones to remind you that you're nowhere near finished. 3 small things. Stand up on purpose. Protein first, 1 voice a day, a few minutes total, and together they push back on all 6 habits at once. So, what do you take away from all of this? After 60, your health is rarely decided by one dramatic choice. It's shaped by the ordinary things you repeat so often, you stopped noticing them, which is exactly why they carry so much weight, and exactly why changing them works. Don't try to fix all 6 at once. Please don't. Pick the one that landed closest to home today and start there. Once it's simply part of your routine, move to the next. Small changes, stacked patiently, are the ones that actually hold. And one more time, because it matters. If you have any health conditions, take regular medications, or have concerns about your heart, joints, or balance, talk with your doctor before making bigger changes to your diet, exercise, or routine. General advice is never a substitute for care built around you specifically. Most of all, don't be hard on yourself about habits you've carried for years. The point of naming them isn't guilt, it's just to notice what might deserve a little attention, so the years ahead can be as strong and as free as possible. If this helped, do 2 quick things. Share it with someone over 60 who ought to hear it, and tell me in the comments, which of the 6 surprised you the most? I read them, and I'd genuinely like to know. Thank you for being here. Stay strong, stay independent, and I'll see you in the next one.